Okay, and we're back on. So back in May, supposedly a script for Captain America Civil War Week. Now, we don't know if that's true or not. It probably isn't, though, because it didn't mention Ant-Man or General Ross, and many people pointed out to me that Ant-Man and General Ross could have just had a last-minute cameo. However, um, judging General is going to have a very small role. It looks like his role is pretty significant, judging from the trailer. And also, the D23 leak trailer also included quite a bit of Ant-Man in it. So I highly doubt that that script was pretty legitimate. But without further ado, I'm just gonna. We have supposedly this leaked. Let me try and get the screen share. Ugh.
Okay, everybody, so everything I'm going to go over in this video is currently a rumor, and I want you to take it as exactly that. But it should be noted, it is coming from Reddit. And, previously, regarding all these scoopers that were on Reddit regarding Spider-Man, if you guys remember, they were pretty much 99% correct on everything they mentioned for the Amazing Spider-Man 2. From the ridiculous, troubles behind the scenes to the Marvel deal and what was in the contract and everything. Hell, they even got right the deleted scenes we've seen after, such as Norman Osborn's head being in a fridge. So, these guys seem to be on point, and this time they're going to be delivering some big Spider-Man stuff at us. So, there's going to be a lot to go over in here. It's pretty much an outline of the entire story for the movie. So, for potential spoiler reasons, you might want to stay out in case you don't want to be spoiled, but in case you want to know what they might be planning in this, stick around and let's get into that. So first off, what they go into is the villains of the movie. Now, what this says is the main villain will actually be Norman Osborn, with J. Jonah Jameson and the Scorpion being featured. Now, the story is going to see J. Jonah Jameson actually declaring Spider-Man a giant public menace and placing a bounty on his head for anybody that can bring, Spider-Man or his identity forward, which in turn will draw out a bunch of criminals who all want to reveal his identity. So this scene is, of course, going to feature a bunch of different villains, assembling to try to take it on. We're going to see a lot of the villains we're going to come to know in their proto form. They're not going to be in costume or anything like that. So some of the villains mentioned are Sandman, Electro, and even Mysterio are going to show up. But Jonah decides to go with Mac Gargan, who is going to inevitably become the Scorpion, because at this time, Gargan is an actual PI.
Huh.
During the next part of the movie, we're going to see, of course, J. Jonah Jameson hire Gargan, and he, gives him a job of tailing Spider-Man to figure out his identity, what he does on a daily basis, where he goes, and when he gets really close to finding out, we see that Spider-Man was onto him and Jonah all along. So he ends up humiliating him by webbing him up to the Daily Bugle and making a mockery of both of them. Now, both of these guys have big egos in their jobs. This is J. Jonah Jameson, of course he does, and they pretty much get driven insane. They want to expose Spider-Man. They want him defeated and exposed, and that's where the story goes on. So at this point in time, we are going to be taken to Norman Osborn, who is actually watching the news, and he sees about what Spider-Man did. Now Norman has an inkling that Spider-Man is his property, that he is the property of Oscorp, because by his mind, the spider that got out and bit someone is his. So he wants what is his. So he goes and reaches out to Jonah and Gargan and says, "Listen, guys, all right, we all hate Spider-Man. We want what's ours. You guys get to reveal it. I get it back. It's all good. So I have a proposition for you guys. I have a formula that Gargan can use on himself, and we're just gonna give him this Scorpion armor. And we'll see how it goes, and he'll take down Spider-Man. So everybody agrees, and they get going with this program. So now on, we're full on steam into this movie, and Mac has now become the Scorpion. He's the villain of the movie from this point on. He's going to be the one that loses his mind and everything like that we come to expect. So we see he actually finds out, who Spider-Man, like where he's going to be, and goes to Midtown High and completely trashes it. But he ends up getting defeated. Now, a second battle does end up happening, and Gargan actually defeats Spider-Man and brings him to Osborn and J. Jonah Jameson. Now, at this point, Jonah just wants to expose Spider-Man's identity because all he wants is money. He doesn't want to, use him for scientific experiments or anything, which is what Norman and Gargan were planning on using. So he goes out there and he just realizes that what he was doing was wrong because Osborn wants to use them to create superpower villains to sell to the new Hydra. So he starts, having cold feet, and Jonah decides, well, I guess it's time to, man up. And he ends up saving P, completely, saves him, brings Spider-Man out there, brings him back to the Daily Bugle. And this is where actually Norman and Scorpion are going to figure out what has happened now. But Gargan thinks it's not enough. Now he's completely gone insane. And Osborn's like, yeah, well, all right, here you go. So he ends up juicing him a little more. Now, at this point, Scorpion is pretty much, he's insane. He's lost his mind. He's gonna go out there. He just wants to destroy everything. And he ends up going to the Daily Bugle where we see them. But obviously, we know who ends up winning, and it's Spider-Man and J. Jonah Jameson end up saving the day. They defeat the Scorpion. So the movie ends with Norman Osborn wanting to produce and proceed with these tests that he injected Gargan with, but the word's gotten out now, and what Osborn was doing and everything, and they're like, well, that's not really going to go anywhere now because we've seen what kind of psychopath you can make. But he has one solution left. It's to test it on himself. So apparently he's going to, and that's going to be the end of the movie. So honestly, there is a lot of interesting stuff. We've heard that they want to take it back to basic, that they want to give us villains we've never seen before, and they want to, just go with Peter Parker fighting one villain and expanding the universe. Honestly, this all sounds plausible. Like I said, a lot of crazy stuff has come over, and come out on Reddit, and it turns out to be true. Hell, they were the ones predicting, oh, we're going to get Doomsday and Batman v Superman, and it's going to be from Zod's body and the Doomsday gene. And look, everything seems to be coming true. So whether it's this true or not, I can't say, but it is a pretty interesting theory and interesting story. So I want you guys to let me know what are your thoughts on this, and do you think this is going to be the story, and would you actually like it? Because if this is it, honestly, I'm sold. This sounds great. So thank you for watching the video. And
So yes, that sounds so far pretty decent. It can go either which way because some of what Reddit has said is true. Other things are not true. For instance, the post-credit scene of The Amazing Spider-Man 2 that said, "Oh, Norman's head was going to be in a jar." Everybody laughed that off. I remember Seven Webheads made a video when that thing came out, and he said, "Oh no, that's ridiculous." And we all laughed at it, and guess what? It turned out true. So that could be correct, but at the same time, they put out a report saying, "Guess what, guys? Dylan O'Brien's playing Spider-Man." And they said they said he had signed up for all these different movies. They said he had signed up for Civil War, the solo Spider-Man movie, Infinity War Part 1 and Infinity War Part 2. So basically this said that he was signed up for 4 movies. He had a 4-movie contract. I'm not a fan of the idea of having Dylan O'Brien as Spider-Man, but I'm not going to talk any more about that since it's not happening anymore. He's not playing Spider-Man anymore. He is he's not playing Spider-Man anymore. Obviously, we know now that what's his name? Tom Holland is going to be playing Spider-Man. I'm not going to complain anymore about this whole Dylan O'Brien isn't going to is going to play Spider-Man. I'm not going to complain about that because I know he is not going to play Spider-Man. But by the way, guys, that was from the Comic Book Cast, that video that I showed you guys. Make sure to subscribe to them. Great channel. So yeah, subscribe to the Comic Book Cast. But yeah, so anyways, I'm gonna leave the link. Hold on. Let me give you guys a link to this. But anyway, so if this were to turn out true, now when I talked about my Civil War thing, I said the movie was pretty much screwed if that turned out to be true. This sounds interesting. I wouldn't be upset, really. I don't think I'd be mad if this were the movie. If this happened to be the movie, I think it would be decent. I think a lot of it's interesting, especially the part where JJ has to help save Peter. I think that's an interesting twist. But at the same time, yeah, at the same time, it's not living up to its full potential. Here's the thing. Here's what I'd like to see out of the Spider-Man movie. I would like to see some more characters, but I don't want them to make it like Iron Man 2 where they just rely on characters. They just say, oh, well, we can't think of a good plot, so, oh, I know. We'll just throw Iron Man in here and Captain America and Hulk and Thor and Black Widow and everybody. No, I think they should have a few references to the Avengers, but don't just say, oh, hey, the Avengers made $1 billion. Let's make sure Spider-Man has this by just mentioning it 24/7. I'd like to see a series that makes Spider-Man. I'd like to see a movie that makes Peter Parker an underdog hero. He never fit in school, so to see him he always had trouble fitting in school, and so I think it would also be very important to see Peter Parker having trouble fitting in the superhero world as well, because in the advantage they have now that the Amazing Spider-Man and the Sam Raimi Spider-Man did not have, was that this takes place in a world where you have Thor, where you have a god right outside your window. Sony did not have that opportunity with Sam Raimi's Spider-Man and Mark Webb's Spider-Man, because with that, it was just Spider-Man. Spider-Man is in that universe. Nobody else is in that universe at all. It's just those two guys. But aside from that, I mean, now you actually have the opportunity to say Peter Parker, oh yeah, he's in this world with Iron Man, everybody. And I've read some of the early comics. There were times when Peter Parker complained because other heroes like the Human Torch, in some of the early Ditko League comics, there were times when Peter would complain that heroes like the Human Torch and the Avengers were getting as than Spider-Man was. And I'd like to see more of that too. I'd like to see it be that type of thing where nobody really gives a crap about Spider-Man in that universe. I mean, to us, we all love Spider-Man, but I don't just want it to be like everybody just says, hooray, Spider-Man's the greatest man ever. I think I'd like to see it be more people say stuff like, yeah, we have freaking Thor, we have the freaking Hulk in this universe. Who needs Spider-Man? Nobody needs Spider-Man. I think that would be a very intriguing thing to do. And I'd like to see them do that. I'd like to see them just say, you know, I'd like to see the general public say, we don't need bloody Spider-Man. We have the Hulk. Who needs Spider-Man when you have the Hulk? Because with the Mark Webb and Raimi films, I can see what they were going at, because Spider-Man was the only superhero in that universe. Although, to be fair, in Spider-Man 2, they did kind of hint that Doctor Strange is in that universe. They had the one mentioned the Doctor Strange, but I always like to interpret it as in the Raimi Spider-Man verse. Uh, Doctor Strange is a fictional character to Peter Parker and everybody, just like in our universe, Doctor Strange is a fictional character to us. The only difference is Spider-Man isn't a fictional character. But yeah, but I do like the script. I wish they would rely maybe just a tad bit more on characters. Well, I mean, like other Marvel characters, but not completely. Don't just say, "Oh, hey, look, Iron Man just came here. Oh, look, there's a cameo from Hulk. Oh boy, yippee ki yay! There's Black Widow and Hawkeye and all these other cool people." No, no, I don't want to see that. I just want to see. Uh, I want to see them fitting in. I just want to see a film where Peter Parker has to fit into a universe where he's not important. I mean, with Raimi and Webb's universe, Spider-Man is the only hero there. So I can see why everybody would think he's so important there. However, with this universe, there are a zillion other superheroes. Who cares about Spider-Man when you got the Hulk? And I'd like to see something like that in that universe. I'd like to see Peter Parker. Here's what I'd like to see. I know I'm kind of starting to be repetitive here, but here's what I'd really like to see. I'd like to see throughout the movie Peter Parker, complaining he's not important, and then maybe towards the end he could meet Captain America if he doesn't die in Civil War, or Tony Stark, or anybody along those lines come in, like let's say like one of the Avengers come in, Peter Parker talk about how tells the Avenger he's a nobody, he doesn't fit in, and that one guy said, and that one Avenger says, well, he basically shows him all the people he saved or all the work he's done as a superhero, and that could kind of basically, make Peter, pursue Spider-Man even more. It could be almost be like the only thing throughout the movie. I'd like to see it be that the only thing that keeps Peter Parker going. He's just really upset about the fact that he never gets noticed, and he always gets trashed on as a hero. And the only thing, and he feels like he's not really making a difference, but the only reason he's doing it is because Uncle Ben, before he died, told him to do this. I'd like to see that, and then at the very end, one of the Avengers, you could tell one of the Avengers, "Oh, I've done nothing. I'm not an effective hero, unlike you. You do all this wonderful stuff." And that one Avenger could say, "Well, hey, wait a minute. This guy right here, you saved his life, or that guy over there, you saved his life, or you saved her life, or something like that." I just really, really want to see that. But tell me in the comment section below, what do you think of this description? And what would you like to see in the new Spider-Man movie? Hold on. Fireball Studio 7, I'm on your channel right now. But it is better. I will say that I do like this description, and I'd be fine with it. It's just I don't think they're living up to their full potential. It just kind of sounds like they're like, let's just go with this plot. But I am glad that they aren't just relying on, superheroes. Uh-huh. Yeesh. Hate it when it takes too much time to load. Oi, oi vey. Well, it's kind of taking a while to load. Anyway, so I got hate today, and I got a little bit of hate today. Somebody said to me, because I wanted to go to Instagram to show you this, but I can't get there. So here, I got a little bit of hate today. I found a comment from my Civil War thing that says, my Civil War Week script thing that said from, I won't mention who, but the guy says, "You're a stuttering, scatterbrained, and ignorant retard." No offense to anybody who's a retard. These are not my words. These are just his words. Just thought I'd get that off my chest. SMGDH. Um, and I replied saying, "Oh, well, Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you too." And and then I reposted that onto Instagram saying, "Thanks for all this love, guys. Keep the fan mail going." You know, here's the thing. I mean, not to encourage haters by any means, not to say hate is good. Um, and I don't think everybody should just ignore it, because when like somebody actually threatens to kill you or something like that, in some cases like that, you have to act. But in like some things, you shouldn't take things too seriously, because you just have to think that, just because they're saying something bad about you doesn't affect you. And if you be the bigger man sometimes when it comes to haters, then it just makes the haters look even weak. But yeah, so I mean, I didn't want to go to war with this guy, so I just kind of decided to be the bigger man and bitch about it. Yeah, for some reason it says isn't working on my internet. But I'm gonna go now, guys. I might make another live stream later or start another one. But yeah, thanks for watching.